After blueberries, on top banana in cutting slices and put, and then on pot you put honey.
You only put on
We will put. I will come also. Upendra.
he is arranging the
I will bring it maybe 20 minutes before lecture finish. I will come. 8:45.
you will be next to he will tell you when to do what to do. Samples are offered.
Means we put everything and we chant mantra also give us something. Whatever is possible. After lecture starts, we go and do it. Hey Baba.
By His grace, one can cross the ocean of the sea of suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. Our body wishes to have our consciousness purified by the words of many from the lotus flower. Attachment to the lotus feet is perfection that fulfills all desire. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our heart with infinite knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From Him ecstatic crown amazing by Him mercy described. The living scripture sings this clarity. Our spiritual master, the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful to us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter of the lotus feet. Shri Prabhupada ki.
This one.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Hare Krishna. So we are very happy that His Holiness Trivikrama Swami Maharaj is with us today. So Maharaj is coming to India after 22 years, a long time. So we are very fortunate to have Maharaj here today. So Maharaj was born in 1941. Maharaj is staunch sannyasi for more than 51 years. One of the senior leaders and ISKCON guru was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 1969 and given sannyas initiation in 1971. Maharaj is currently the senior most sannyasi, only next to His Holiness Jayaprada Swami Maharaj. With just one instruction from His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, based on a letter dated March 7, 1970, Los Angeles, USA, Maharaj has willingly accepted renounced order of life and dedicated whole life in the service of Srila Prabhupada. During Srila Prabhupada's presence on this planet, Maharaj was regularly assigned by His Divine Grace to spread Krishna consciousness in various countries worldwide such as United States of America, London, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines and India. Maharaj went to London temple on the instruction of Srila Prabhupada as a senior brahmachari devotee to train and maintain the temple. This was the temple where the famous three couples went. Maharaj has served as the temple president at various centers and also is a pioneer in opening and expanding many centers, helping in preaching about Krishna consciousness. Maharaj served as a coordinator, co-director of Mayapur along with His Holiness Jayaprada Swami Maharaj. Maharaj also served with a leading role in Delhi as a temple president and as temple president in Chandigarh. Srila Prabhupada used to give assignments each year personally to Maharaj, and Maharaj would directly report to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada personally said about him, he will always go wherever I send him. His Holiness is well known for his loyalty and obedience to Srila Prabhupada's teachings, word and mission. Maharaj has rendered so many personal services such as driving and giving massages to Srila Prabhupada regularly. After Srila Prabhupada's departure, His Holiness made sure that Srila Prabhupada's position as the founder Acharya of ISKCON would not be compromised by playing an active role in the Guru reform movement. Later on, His Holiness led preaching in Orlando in the capacity of temple president and is actively preaching in parts of Eastern Europe such as Poland, Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia and Czech Republic. Maharaj has been accepting disciples on behalf of his spiritual master and ISKCON since 1987 and is well known for ecstatic kirtans, bhajans and profound lectures with practical applications for the teachings and instructions of Srila Prabhupada. One more thing, while Guru Maharaj was in Hong Kong and particularly in Japan, every day Maharaj used to go out for 6 to 8 hours and distribute anywhere between 125 to 250 books and BTG magazines. Very well. I request. Yes, there is Naraj Jitin for temple president to call in others.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Which text? 22. Thank you. Okay, this is a very important verse. And it applies somewhat to me in the way you glorify me here, because I really don't have these qualities yet. Pitu Vacha, Bosutaye, Magda Somya, I can't see. Vandil, it's not there in the Buddha. Okay, Loke, Danush, Tanasta, Gunasya Mesyat, Kim Ashkayo Me, Stava Esha Yojin, Jatam, Ma Maya Abuvan, Vilata, Girova, Svatva. Translation. And this is very important. King Peter said, O gentle Sutta, Magda and other devotees offering prayers and qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it's better that they be offered to someone else. Prita Maharaj Ki. So this is I'm nothing really. Prabhupada created me out of garbage and gives a little service out of me, but compared to, we should all be glorifying Prabhupada at every step. Then naturally, I'll get some credit because I'm still with Prabhupada, and you'll also get credit because anybody who remains loyal to Prabhupada and dedicated to his movement, they're going to become glorious in due course. So I'm hoping also to become glorious someday. But I'm aspiring devotee. I don't claim to be at the level of Bhagavatam. Therefore, it's mentioned in the Nectar Devotion that the initiating guru, his main purpose is to direct those to the Acharya. Chapter 6, Nectar Devotion, you can find. Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada said this is our law book. So the law is, we should keep Prabhupada in the center. What have we done? What has he done? So we want to keep him in the center, then everyone will benefit. We won't lose anything. Doesn't mean we are Rik-fix. We accept that there should be Diksha Guru. Prabhupada came to continue the Prabhupada, not to stop it. Krishna came to, what does Krishna say? What's the verse about Evam Parampara Bhaktam Imam Parajasuri. So it appears to be lost, but Krishna has come to reestablish it. So Prabhupada hasn't come to stop it. This Rik business is stupid. Prabhupada is here to continue the Parampara. He very clearly chose people to initiate. And it wasn't until some of those chosen ones fell down that this Rik philosophy was even considered by anybody. Everybody knew that Prabhupada had appointed some people to carry on the work of initiating. But unfortunately, instead of following in Prabhupada's footsteps, some of them imitated him, and therefore there was some chaos. And during that chaos, this Rik philosophy flourished. Otherwise, it's just a reaction. It's not an actual philosophy. Nowhere in the history of any sampradaya has there been a acharya who continued initiating after his departure in an organized way with hundreds of people, with a perspective to go on for hundreds of years. No, you won't find that anywhere. Is there a concoction? Your friends here. Don't fall victim of it. Okay, let's read Prabhupada's purport. The prayers and praises by the Sutta, Magda, and Vandi all explain the godly qualities of Prithu Maharaj. For he was a Satyavesha incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we consider Prabhupada also a Satyavesha Avatar. Satyavesha. Satyavesha means he gets special power to do something. He's not God, he's not Vishnu Tattva. But he's empowered and he can do superhuman things. So we say that Prabhupada is Satyavesha of Lord Nityananda for preaching. No one else could do what he did. Old man, going to a foreign country, no money, established this movement. In 10 years he had centers all over the world. You can't do that unless you're empowered. Therefore we read in the poetry that Prabhupada composed when he arrived in America, how he wanted to be just a puppet in Krishna's hands. And he was praying, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. But this was his qualification. He was the puppet, he was fully surrendered, and therefore Krishna used him. This special mercy. The Acharya, more than Acharya, he is a Senapati of Lord Chaitanya, the great general who spread his mission all over the world. He gave us the skyscraper, we just have to fill it in. Our work is easy, but Prabhupada's, you can't compare. Well, I don't want to overemphasize this, but because I don't think we can overemphasize it. Especially in the history where there were devotees who were thinking they're at the same level as Prabhupada. And thus they became degraded. Nectar of Devotion mentions that. If one imitates the Mahabhagavad, eventually becomes degraded. And I can see if Prabhupada made me a guru in 1977, I could have easily thought of that. I most likely would have. Because everybody's flattering you. Wherever you go, oh, here you go, oh, here you go. Oh. Then you start thinking, maybe I am that good. No. I can tell a quick story, maybe after the class. But Prabhupada was never puffed up like that. He always remembered himself as a servant of the spiritual master. So we have to follow in Prabhupada's footsteps, not imitate. Do you understand the difference? Anusara and
Anuchara.
Okay, because the qualities were not yet manifest, however, King Prithu very humbly asked why the devotees could praise him with such exalting words. He did not want anyone to offer him prayers or glorify him unless he possessed the real qualities of which they spoke. This is a very important point. Prabhupada accepted, but he was accepted in a humble mood. He knew that he was a servant of Krishna and his teaching. He The offering of prayers was certainly appropriate, for he was an incarnation of God. So please correct me. Prita Vishuddhata Jiva. Huh? Because he said he was an incarnation of God. But he had warned that one should not accept him as an incarnation of the personality of God without having the godly qualities. So again, Brother is saying, accepted as an incarnation of the personality of God. At the present moment, there are many so-called incarnations of the personality of God, but these are merely fools and rascals whom people accept as incarnations of God, although they have no godly qualities. Nipito desired that his real characteristics in the future might justify such words of praise, although there was no fault in the prayers offered to Pita Maharaj. Although there was no praise in the prayers offered, Pita Maharaj indicated that such prayers should not be offered to an unfit person who pretends to be an incarnation of the personality of God. Okay, so again, we have to be careful, especially here in India. There's so many people claim to be God, such as Sai Baba, these kind of people. So they do a disservice to the principles of religion. Principles of religion are given. And the Acharya is the one who is setting example of those principles of religion. What are the principles of religion? Cleanliness, austerity, mercy, and truthfulness. And they correspond to illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating on the other side. Therefore, you have to strictly follow these rules and regulations in order to come to the point of being a religious person. So Prabhupada was trying to create some religious people, but sometimes he complained, it's like trying to wash coal. You know, black coal, you wash it, but it's still black. So he saw that many of his disciples were not able to maintain the standard, even of 4 regular principles, 16 round. So he became a little discouraged, actually, when some of the leading devotees fell down, even in his presence. What to speak of so many who fell down after the Prophet left. So still, the principle is that this movement has the potency to change the world. But first we have to change ourselves from the inside out. We can't be hypocrites and tell people no, this is sex, and we're having this is sex. So it's our duty to strictly follow. Probably use that word. Strictly follow. And then it'll become spontaneous. The joyful state will come to us. Brahmabhuta prasanna, nasochati natakanchi. Samasavesi bhuta isu mad bhakti. Then we can become mad bhakti, Krishna says. We can become his devotee when we first have to come to the level of Brahman. So what is the level of Brahman? We feel joyful, no hankering, no lamenting. We're satisfied, prasanna. We're satisfied with ourselves in our own position. We're not hankering for something, big position. We're happy in any position. We may accept big position, GBC or whatever, but that will only be for assisting Srila Prabhupada, not that we're interested in position. But this is a test. We all have to pass these tests in order to come to the point of becoming an actual devotee of Krishna. Not an easy thing to be a devotee of Krishna. We can be aspiring for a devotee, to be a devotee. But that we can do. But to actually become a devotee of Krishna is rare. Therefore, Nectar Devotion says also, pure devotional service is rarely attained. So we shouldn't be jumping over. Prabhupada used to ridicule those who were imitating Hanuman. Hanuman can do superhuman activities. He can jump over to Sri Lanka. But we want to get the credit like Hanuman. But first we have to become pure devotees. But this is the process. We can become pure devotees. Many in the past have become pure devotees. course, by following this process. This is explained in the Gita. So it's not that we're just taking a risk. No, it's a very secure position we're in. But we have to remain in that position, servant of the servant of the servant. As soon as we jump over, then Lanka was supposed to melancholy. We're not able to jump like Hanuman could. So, again, the key thing of being a spiritual master, of being a devotee, is that we don't cheat. We don't cheat ourselves, and we don't cheat the public. We present ourselves for what we are, servant of the servant. And we're very fortunate because Prabhupada made it easy for us. We can present him. Here's Srila Prabhupada, here's his books, here's his mission, here's his mission statement. We can explain everything straightforwardly without, demanding credit on our own. The only credit we get is we agreed. We agreed to follow Srila Prabhupada. That's our only credit. People stand up and glorify me. But my only credit is that I agree. Okay, Prabhupada, I'll try to help you in your mission. And I did that. And I'm still trying to do that. So that much credit you can give me, but otherwise, I'm not very significant devotee. Luckily, I wasn't significant even in Prabhupada's time, therefore he didn't ask me to become Guru or GBC. So I was able to escape all the problems that happened there in the early 80s by just being happy to be a low-profile devotee. Generally, they want to glorify the sannyasis and make them something big, but I hesitate to, even now, at 81, I hesitate to put myself in an exalted position. Because it's easy, the Maya is so strong. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya embraced Sanat Goswami when he came to see him. And what did he tell him? Does anybody know? Sanat Goswami was dressed almost like a Muslim, and he was waiting outside the door. And Lord Chaitanya said, Govindas, go bring, there's an exalted devotee up here. But he went out and he said, no, there's nobody here. Just some fakir, he called him. And then he said, no, bring him in. So Sanat Goswami was just unassuming. But Lord Chaitanya embraced him. And what did he tell him? You've done what nobody else can do. You've given up big position. That's the thing that gets so many devotees also. Oh, I'm the chief, I'm the temple president, I'm the temple commander, I'm the head of the... And then suddenly they go to cuckoo. Thinking that because of position that they're special. So we can take position, we must take position. But as a service, probably in order to organize the institution, we need hierarchy, we need discipline. But those who take the role have to be very careful. The role of guru is easier because it's so voluntary. The candidate wants you and you accept after examining each other. That examination should be there. And then you can, but temple president, that you have more authority in one sense. You can command. If you don't behave, I'm going to call the police and throw you out. You can do like that. The temple president may have to do like that. But the guru is not going to do that. It just becomes indifferent. I saw Srila Prabhupada became indifferent to some of his disciples. He no longer put energy into them. Because they weren't receptive anymore. They lost faith. They lost faith in him. So he just dealt with them. He didn't give in. Because even if the Prabhupada was getting angry with you, that means he thought you were savable, so to speak. So that also we could tolerate. Prabhupada got angry with me a lot. But I could tolerate because I knew he was my well-wisher, and I didn't feel, I took it as he's trying to help me. But others didn't do that. They resented it and they went away or whatever. For whatever reason. They even blamed Prabhupada. Or they blamed Krishna. Isn't it? Don't we hear even now people blaming Krishna? Why did Krishna allow this COVID vaccination or disease to spread so much? So the point is, we should learn from these negative situations. One verse like that describes promises is applicable at all times and all circumstances. That if you tolerate, Lord Chaitanya stressed this tolerate the people offending you, tolerate the things that are going to come to you. You know, Prabhupada also experienced difficulty when he was leaving his body. We were with him. You know, it was a difficult situation. It's going to be a difficult situation for each and every one of us. When disease comes and old age and death is waiting. But we saw from Prabhupada's example, he was never lost his faith in any way. Rather, he was still encouraging us, even in the last days. He was preaching. He was very conscious. Up until the very last day, he was fully conscious. He made a little mistake, he would say, what is it? Why you? If you did something nice, he encouraged you. Even lying on the bed. I was singing one, because we were always had the kirtan going in Prabhupada's room. And we had these small cartels. And kirtan was going 24 hours. Even when Prabhupada was sleeping, light kirtan was going. Soft voices. And then, of course, if Prabhupada wanted to speak, then the kirtan would stop. So he didn't chant on japa, he didn't have the strength. But he was always hearing the kirtan. He said, this is my medicine. Kirtan and massage. He used to take this one. Because he had a stroke, so it was good for circulation this time. But otherwise, don't think that we won't have to tolerate difficulties. It's inevitable. We owe God one death, and there's going to be suffering. So we have to be prepared to tolerate. This is the greatest qualification, to be tolerant on our own account. We don't have to tolerate if somebody blasphemes the Lord or his devotee. Srila Bhakti then says that we can give him the proper teaching with as much vigor as ever. I remember we were in London, early days, and you know, they have this undergrounds. We don't have undergrounds here. So there was one guy selling papers there, and I was finishing up. I was alone. So he had no shaved head. And the guy spoke something bad about Krishna, I forget what he said. And I thought, you better shut up, I'm going to throw you down these stairs. And he said, I thought you were a pacifist. I said, well, you thought it wrong. We can get angry if somebody blasphemes Krishna or Prabhupada. But if they blaspheme us, no, then we should tolerate. What is it? Yes, you're right, I am a fool. Otherwise, why am I here in this material world? I'm the biggest fool. I was with Krishna, but I decided I wanted to be equal with Krishna. I no longer wanted to serve him. I wanted to be on the same level. That's why we don't like these Mayavadis, because that's the disease that brought us here. You can become God. And India is full of these people. But you have to confront them. This is a service because you're protecting God. I personally saw Prabhupada get disturbed by these commentations on Bhagavad Gita. He said in an annoying way, why don't they write their own book? Why do they take Krishna and twist Krishna's words? So when we confront these people, we should also be annoyed. Why are you spoiling the words of the Lord? He's clearly saying, Aham Tvam, this too, you surrender to me. Arjuna was chosen because he's a bhakta. Why don't you accept this? Is the Bhakti Mama Vijananti, Manmanamala, Manbhakta. Throughout the whole Gita, Krishna is saying, become my devotee. And these people saying, no, you should become a jnani. Vasudeva Samamiti Samhamasuru. Only after many, many verses of jnana will you come to the point of pure devotion. But Prabhupada is bringing us right immediately. If we agree, then we can become devotees in this lifetime. Although it's not so easy, like we were saying. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna. We have to come to this level. Brahma Bhuta means I understand I'm not this body. I'm fully convinced of it. Brahma Bhuta. Nasochati. I don't hanker or lament for anything. So I'm equal to everyone. Not that I only love my family members and others. So it's very difficult to have that mentality. Then you can become a devotee. So this we should be always thinking how I can qualify myself, how I can purify myself to become a devotee. Pavitra. Krishna is complete pure. So we have to be pure if we want to become his devotee. Otherwise, why would he allow us to come close to him? If we have the spell of sense gratification or seeking sense gratification, we have to be finished with that. And see, this is not my real self, running after illicit sex, intoxication, these things. So we're very fortunate. Greatest good fortune is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. One of Bhagavatam, Guru Krishna Prasad, Bhakti means that we meet the devotee on a level like Prabhupada, and you often are introduced to him through his books. He's our Shiksha Guru for the next 10,000 years. So all of you are very fortunate to be connected with Srila Prabhupada and his mission. So don't break that connection. Remain servant of the servant. Of course, the Diksha Guru can help us, but the Diksha Guru will be happy if we become Prabhupada conscious. He will. He'll be happy if we take Prabhupada's books distribution as an important service. If we take glorifying Prabhupada as our, not that we neglect our Diksha Guru, but he'll be happy if he sees us enthusiastic to spread Prabhupada's mission. He'll be happy. Which Guru won't be happy? Every Guru in Islam knows that I'm a servant of Prabhupada. No one is thinking I'm on the same level as Prabhupada. We want to keep Prabhupada in the center. So if you also help keep Prabhupada in the center, then this mission can go on for 10,000 years. I was in the car with Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, coming back from a morning walk. When the car came a different way, the devotees didn't see us, they were all on the street. So Prabhupada was in the front, and the three sannyasis were in the back, and the driver was in front. So as we came up, Prabhupada saw it, and he spoke from inside his heart. He said, this movement will go unchecked for the next 10,000 years. He spoke with full conviction. They cannot check this movement. So we should hold on to the movement, and it will carry us back home, back to United. Don't remain loyal to ISKCON. Don't be attracted by these other Gaudiya Mas or something. Remain loyal. Or there's Madhu Pandit guy. You've already settled that in your minds, I guess. One of his followers spoke to me the other day. And he was saying he'd like to go back to ISKCON, but he doesn't know how to do this so easily. Anyway, that's just an incident that happened. But the point is, they're putting the whole philosophy on a one word which Tamal Krishna used to say henceforth the Rigveda system. But that was Prabhupada was clearly saying. Everybody knew that Prabhupada had chosen some gurus to carry on the work of initiating after he left. Everybody knew that. There was no doubt about it. And it wasn't until the gurus started falling down, like 3 years later, that even anybody conceived of a Rigveda system for eternity. This is simply a reaction to the fact that some gurus fell down. And it's unfortunate that they did. And we have to face that reality. There's some of them. Like I was working with Hansaduri, he became crazy. We call it DAD, we call it. Dreaded Acharya disease. They thought they were equal with Prabhupada. Instead of taking a position, a humble position, they were saying, like Hansadu, this is what he said. I didn't have to become Guru. Prabhupada made me Guru. Everybody knows Guru is perfect. Therefore, I'm perfect. And he was having sex with his disciples, shooting guns, and they were crazy. So that's not going to happen again. But the bad result is these victory people came up. They would never had any thought of it. Nobody in ISKCON, like in 1978, 79, 80, nobody even thought of this idea. Because there's no history. There's no history of any Acharya continuing to initiate on a large scale after he has left the planet. Nobody. Therefore, Krishna says, Evam Parampara, I'm coming to reestablish the Parampara. So there's a concoction there. They're creating this idea. We can preach against them. We should preach against them. They preach against us, right? We give it a chance. They minimize the gurus. They say, oh, the problem with these gurus. Vice versa. On YouTube or something. Okay, anyway. Any comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you were telling that Prabhupada was the same to everyone, and yet some of the disciples, they chose to stick with Prabhupada and many went away. So Maharaj, even when we come to Bhakti and we have accepted the philosophy, everyone knows the philosophy, everyone gets the same treatment from the leaders, from the guides, still many people end up going away. So do we really have no independence in this matter? Are we totally being controlled by our past lives, that even after
No,
doing
of course not. We can overcome our past life. But how many examples are there? Like Valmiki or Jagai and Madhai? They overcame their past life. Otherwise, why are we preaching? We're giving people a chance to come to their original position. You want to talk about the past. Originally, we're with Krishna, but we misuse our independence and we come here. So now our original position is Krishna conscious. But we want to go back to our original position. So why is that so difficult? It's difficult because since time immemorial, the habit has been to put myself in the center. Right? It's like when you're on the road here. You don't expect the other drivers to go, oh yeah, you can go ahead of me. No, everybody. It's kind of like a cultural shock for me, the traffic. Because in America we have lanes. And people don't go out of their lane unless they signal. It's a big thing to change lanes, but here it is. Like, the scooters are coming this way. And everybody wants to get ahead, right? That's the mentality, because the child is the same way. The child on the plane, he doesn't care if he disturbs other people, because he loves himself too much. And therefore he's screaming. You try to reason with him, you can't. So this is what we're born into. We're born into false ego. We want to put ourselves in the center. But in the spiritual world, everybody agrees to put Krishna in the center. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it easy for us to put Krishna in the center. How do we do it?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
And the binding principle of the sex life. Once in Vrindavan, Prabhupada, after a kirtan, he came back to take rest, and I was with him when Shruti Kirti. He was on the bed, we were sitting on the ground, and Prabhupada said, this kirtan is a special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, and if we don't get life from the kirtan, no, first he said, this kirtan gives us life. And then he said, and if we don't get life from the kirtan, simply sex life. So it's our choice. We want to be involved in sex life up to the point of death, or we want to take to the kirtan and have a kirtan going on our last day. That's our choice. We remain with the devotees, then they'll be chanting while we're leaving the body. Otherwise, your wife will be there, and then what Puranjana is described in the 4th canto, He was attached to his wife, so next life, he got a female body. That's the karma. Karma is working perfectly. You attach to a woman at the time of death. If a man's attached to a woman, he becomes a woman in his next life. This is in the 4th canto, you can read. So you have every chance to overcome your lower nature. If you associate with devotees throughout your whole life, try your best. Sometimes you may fail, just like a child learning how to walk. But he gets up immediately because he sees this is what's happening. This is where it's happening. Walking. I'm not going to remain crawling my whole life. So he understands. I have to learn how to walk. 3-4 times he gets up. Similarly, we should be convinced this is the highest thing for me. This is the best thing for me to become a devotee. Then why should we give it up? It's the best thing. Only there's 2 reasons: suicidal or homicidal. But if we're normal, we'll take the best thing. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir. Here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for the lecture.
I'm hearing it in advance. You have to speak slowly and clearly.
Thank you so much for the lecture. Maharaj, one question. So you were talking about sannyasis and initiating gurus falling down. So recently I took a ISKCON disciple course where it was talking about somebody who is an initiating guru who falls down. ISKCON gives multiple chances for that guru to come back. So I was thinking why that happens, because even a normal
What happened?
why an initiating guru is given a chance.
Why he fell down?
No. Why even after falling down from basic principles, still they are given a chance to remain as initiating guru?
I never heard that. So the guru is breaking principles and he can remain an initiating guru? No. Where is that goes on in this guy? If the guru breaks principles, he can still remain an initiating? No. I don't believe that's there. You have to show me. Maybe you misread it. He's given a chance, yes, to read, because Abhishek to Rajaro. He can become again pure. But if he's broken principles and he's still breaking them, then who will accept him as a guru?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for wonderful class. I wanted to know, Maharaj, since this topic of physics came, so since this topic,
Speak slowly, clearly.
Just like I'm your friend on the house. Who that might? Tell me, what is it?
What is the destination of someone who is sincerely
Maybe better use the microphone. Did you understand what he said? He didn't understand either.
I wanted to know, what is the destination of a devotee who sincerely practiced devotional service in a ritic circumstances?
Yeah, he may have to spend another lifetime. That's described in chapter 9, text 30. Robert clearly describes it there, that in another next life he's given a chance to be born in a good family. Again, he has an opportunity to take to Krishna consciousness. But nobody's going back to the other unless he's free from any material attachments. Or even one raisin, if you're attached, then you have to stay in the material world.
Maharaj, I wanted to know, what about the offenses they do to proper disciples?
You give them up. What about them? Why are we talking about it? They smell. They have a bad odor, offenses. Like you have an offensive smell. So the offenses we should be given up. If somebody is offensive, naturally, he's going to be, Krishna won't be happy with him. How's he going to get Krishna's mercy? Krishna's Bhakti-Vatsa. Krishna's inclined to the devotee. If we offend the devotee, then Krishna will, just like in your Mahabharata, because Draupadi was a pure devotee, she was offended. What happened to even Bhishma, who was a Mahajan? He had to die. What happened to Drona? He had to die because they didn't protect Draupadi properly. They offended. They allowed her to be offended in their presence when they could have stopped it. And because of that, they died. So you want to continue offending devotees? Krishna's never going to forgive you. So what is the problem? If you offended a devotee, you should go to him and say, sorry, I might have offended you in my mind, please forgive me. The Vaishnava won't hold a grudge.
Maharaj, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada writes, of all the instructions a guru gives, chanting 16 rounds is the first priority. So we get distracted with so many things. So how do we keep that in the heart that is the priority of all the instructions that we get?
By taking that instruction, what you just quoted, that's the most important thing. It's a question of priority. We make the priority. If we have the priority that I'm going to chant 16 rounds, then it's easy. Your mind is fixed. You go to bed early. You don't surf the internet or watch television until 11, 12 o'clock. You take rest at 9 o'clock, and it's easy to get up before 4. You have so many rounds done before Mangalarti, and then the day is easy. I haven't had trouble since 1968. Once I was in India, I had typhoid. So for a few days I couldn't chant. But why is that so hard? Okay, next. I think I have last question. Because the devotees want some prasada now, right?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for a wonderful class, very emphasized the importance of Srila Prabhupada in our lives and in this one. Maharaj, the question that I had was, how can one overcome duplicitous behavior?
Duplicitous? Yeah. By being straightforward. Straightforward is sometimes the word. Archibald, is it? Straightforward is synonymous with being a Vaishnava. Why can't we be straightforward? I don't have any problem with that. You know, I'm American. We kind of grew up being straightforward. But I'll tell you the truth. When I was 20 years before, one of the reasons I didn't come back to India because I didn't like the Indians so much, because I thought they were tricky. Yeah, they weren't so straightforward. Now, of course, it's different. The Vaishnavas are naturally straightforward. Well, why do we have to be tricky? Better to be straightforward in your ordinary dealings with everything. Then people know where you're at, and they respect you or they avoid you. This is the best quality. Robert clearly says, nectar devotion. Be straightforward in ordinary dealings. Why do we have to trick and cheat? We don't have any faith that we're going to get our quota. We have to find a shortcut. This lie and steal to get what we need, what we think we need. Krishna will maintain us, he promises. You'll carry what we lack, you'll preserve what we have. Just have a little faith, and then you can be straightforward about everything. Okay, we'll stop here. Srila Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. So I'd like to thank His Holiness Kirtan Swami Maharaj for coming here.
You're welcome.
Very request Maharaj, please come again whenever you come to India. Please visit our ISKCON Cultural Center. So I will be very eager to have you again here. So let's thank Maharaj from the bottom of our heart by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna mantra. So chant once Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai.
So devotees can take prasadam in the prasadam hall.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna. Devotees who want to give darshan to Maharaj can pass it on to me. I'll hand it over to them.
लाइव बंद करके गए हैं, वो लाइव चल रहा है। आरम ब्रो, लाइव चल रहा है। गोइंग लाइव ब्रो, ऑफ कर दीजिए, दर्शन लेगा उधर। प्रभु
Arranged Prasadam is being served to the Prasadam hall who is here to
Let me,